Welcome to episode 3 of the DCD podcast. I am Alex, aka Purple Swordfish, joined by my great co-host, Andy, aka TH. How are you doing, Andy?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. So I just want to inform you that we've reached a milestone. I know it's only episode 3.
Yeah.
This is usually the episode where afterwards people quit doing the podcasting thing. Statistically, episode 3 is as far as people get.
Yeah.
So are we doing episode 4? Let's just answer it now.
Yet.
You don't know yet? Okay.
Got to see. We gotta call the higher ups. See if we get renewed for a new season.
You know what's funny? You mentioned somebody getting renewed for a new season, and I was blown away by this because I really like the show a lot. Total tangent here, but Kevin Can Wait. The first season, it was like CBS's #1 comedy. The second season, they made some major casting changes. I guess it didn't go over that well, and it got canceled. So in no time at all, you can get canceled. So this podcast might be canceled next. This might be the last episode.
I don't know.
We
gotta
don't
talk
know.
about higher ups.
You gotta try it out. They gotta try it out. Okay, man. So how was your week? How's your week?
Pretty good. The Red Sox officially have the most wins before the All-Star break in MLB history at 68.
Impressive.
Yeah. And this is one thing I've been hiding from you, a little topic. But apparently, my mom thinks you're funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had a phone conversation with her, and she's like, yeah, that swordfish guy's pretty funny.
Yeah. You know, we did make a pretty funny commercial this week. So
yeah,
there was that.
She liked it.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mrs. ATH. I appreciate it. Mrs. Holsey.
The same last name, but
well, I'm sorry then. I apologize. I just went to the default.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, man. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, Red Sox, you know, it's one of those weird things, man. Like every once in a while there's a sports team like that. I know we're going to have a very sports heavy episode, but every once in a while, isn't there that team like it's like having a great regular season and just nobody believes in them? Like the media just kind of seems just a little like skeptical of the Red Sox for some reason. I don't know why. It's kind of weird.
You know, they weren't expected to be favorites at the beginning of the year.
It's a tough division to play in though. Like it's not an easy division by any means. This isn't the AL. I think it's the Central, right, with the Indians, where like it's a very, very soft division. Like you can easily come out of that division as a division winner.
Well, the season ends now. The second best team in the AL, arguably, the Yankees, will be a wild card.
It's just weird to think about, right? Because then they'd have to play in.
They could potentially like lose and not make the first round.
See, that's the one thing about that MLB play-in rule that is kind of weird to me. Like I hate the idea of a one-game series, but I also love the excitement of it. It's like kind of a catch-22. Like as a fan, like you realize you could have one freakish game in your entire. So I guess in a weird way, it does kind of prioritize the whole fact of I need to win my division if I'm in the MLB.
Yeah.
But enough MLB talk. We're going to be talking about that plenty later.
How's your week?
It's busy, man. Busy. I mean, been streaming a lot of Far Cry 5. Did a World of Warcraft stream last night. That went pretty well. You were there for the World of Warcraft stream, most of it at least.
I was there for Far Cry
pretty much all of it, yeah. So we've been doing that a lot. I am not playing Madden other than for the achievements, which is kind of cool.
2 weeks till Madden comes out.
Looking forward to it, man. I keep saying this every week, but I think it's really important to keep stating it. Like, taking a break from Madden has been great as a content creator, and I want to encourage every single content creator out there in the Madden community, take a small break before the new game comes out.
Yeah.
So you can hit that new game, because you're going to be wanting to grind hard if you do Ultimate Team content.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, it's really important. But, yeah, pretty good week. Good work week. Had a great weekend with Ashley. I went to Target for the first time in like a year. Yeah.
Target. We don't have one of those.
Dude, Target's weird to me, man. Like I go there.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
There's like a Calvin Johnson or something like that for Mutt. You could only get Target. And I was like, hey, bro, can you go to Target and get me this?
I remember you saying that.
You never went.
I did go to Target and I couldn't find it, and I felt bad. And I remember DMing you back, and I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I couldn't find it.
I don't remember that. I just remember being like, "Hey, dude, go to Target for me, please."
Dude, I think that might have been the last time I went to Target. Because, like, I don't
Yeah.
go there, dude. I just don't. But, man, I was like, when I was in there, I was like, I see why white people love this store so much.
Yeah.
Because I went in there, and it's like, they're playing Smash Mouth, Pacific Coast Party. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, oh, God, this song really sucks. But I'm looking at people like, Pacific Coast Party. And they're, like, shopping for stuff, and they're, like, loving it.
They play the Shrek theme.
Well, maybe. I mean, maybe that's
Yeah.
also on it. But, like, it's just, like, this really upbeat, like, totally white person music, you know? And everybody's loving it. And everybody's super happy to be at Target. And my wife is loving it. I mean, she's just like, oh, I love Target. I'm just sitting there thinking, man, I got to get out of this place. It's so weird to me. But, yeah, pretty good weekend. Pretty good week in terms of content creation. So,
Speaking of content creation.
yeah, let's go into that right away.
Yeah. You want to lead up? Oh.
Well, I was trying to segue into you leading the first topic.
All right. Well, we have a user submitted topic
Mm-hmm.
from the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. Check them out. Try it out. And they
Amazing
say,
podcast, by the way. Check it out, for real.
which social media outlet has been the most beneficial to you as a content creator?
You want to start?
I have a weird answer, so I think you should go.
Okay. Why do I feel like you're gonna be like you could give me some weird social network like LinkedIn? You know, you're gonna be like, I know it's usually for business, but it's been great for my YouTube channel.
I've been using a lot of that Tinder to promote a channel.
People just see the ATH logo and they're like, swipe right, swipe right. Swipe right is good, right? Is it swipe left that's bad? I don't know either. I stopped dating by the time Tinder came out. But yeah, real quick, shout out to Daniel from The Reasons I'm Broke. Great podcast. You can go to TheReasonsI'mBroke.com and you can search for them on YouTube. Yeah, they're great. They're on iTunes. Like they're on more podcast platforms than we'll probably ever be. But yeah, great podcast. And I will say Twitter. Twitter has been like the biggest boon for my channel. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. I know I'm forgetting one other. Like, I spend the majority of my time on Twitter. Facebook, I really thought initially, so I've heard, and I guess we'll find out, Andy, me and you, like, I've heard that Facebook is better for podcasts than it is for YouTube channels per se. Instagram, I would say, has been the second best, and Facebook will be the third. But Twitter's been great for me because of one thing and one thing alone, that's hashtags. So a lot of times, like when I share my videos and I put a hashtag, I'll notice there are a lot of people who will find their way to my video through the YouTube analytics. They do have a way where you can show this. Like, you'll see they found you through Twitter, and it's usually because you used a hashtag that was relevant at that given time. Specifically with things like Madden, like just putting like hashtag Madden 18, hashtag Mud 18 has been huge for me. The other thing is indie games. Like any indie games that I've ever covered on my channel, usually developers and publishers have a specific hashtag for their game. So for example, like hashtag No Time to Explain. That was an early indie game that I did on my channel. That series did like remarkably better than any other series at that time on my channel, just because I used that hashtag and people were checking it out because of that. So I would say Twitter, number one, Instagram, number two, because Instagram does have hashtags and it's a little bit more interactive. Like if you're a little creative with what you do with Instagram, like people will pay more attention to you. And then Facebook, I feel like Facebook is like shouting into a black hole. I don't know how else to explain it. So like to give you some perspective, I have a fan page on Facebook. About 60 followers, give or take. Right now on Facebook. I have a couple hundred on Instagram. I would say about 200, give or take. And then like 1,400 on Twitter. Okay. So like obviously I've been able to build a much bigger user base on Twitter. But Facebook, I feel like you're screaming into a black hole. And then they really push the whole like pay us money for ads, right? So one time I said, you know what? I just posted a review of an indie game. Let me put $5 of my own money into advertising. It reached 600 people, and it literally got 2 clicks.
Rip.
And I was like, this is why it doesn't really. So like YouTube, I would say Twitter's your best friend, but that's just my experience. Andy, what is yours?
Well, we're gonna be honest here.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Does YouTube count as a social media? Like YouTube itself?
You're gonna say YouTube was your best?
No. Does it? Are we counting it?
I mean, I would.
YouTube.com/Bengal Designs has been the most beneficial to me, to be honest.
Good. You know what? This is actually a very good answer. I like this. Please expand on this.
Because that's where I get the most sub growth when he shouts me out.
It's
Or we
not
have a collab or
shout outs.
something like that.
When you collab, right?
He shot me out a couple times.
He's giving you a couple shout outs, but here's the thing, like, and I think this is valuable too, and I would really love to hear more about this and what you think about this, but like, if you're a new content creator on YouTube and you can get somebody who's more established to collaborate with you, is that or is that not a good route to go?
It depends. My thing is if your video itself is already bad, you're not going to grow from it.
True.
Like you already have to have like your foot in the door and have good content creation. Other than that, then the collab's not going to work. I don't know. It's kind of hard to do that if you're just starting off. We kind of got a bit of a boost because we knew Bengal when he was small.
Well, okay, so when I say starting off, what I'm talking about is like, for example, you make good content, right? Your content is there's quality, there's humor, it's entertaining, it's, you had an installed base of subscribers, you were getting views. It wasn't like you started YouTube and you said, hey, let's collab, right? You had a catalog of videos. And you did some really good collaborations with people like Bengal, and that did help your channel. And I think that's very valuable. And like, just to give you some perspective myself, like I actually did a collaboration with Bengal. Huge shout out to him, like great guy.
I've had a collab with him, like Mike Mack.
Yeah.
Some other guys have quit, but we won't mention them.
Yeah, working with Ninkata. Anyway,
I was thinking about the most underrated.
Most underrated. I don't know how it always turns out kind of Italian when we do it, but it's funny.
The most underrated.
But nevertheless, like maybe after you get established on YouTube and you've got maybe a smaller following, reach out to someone of a similar size following or maybe a little bit bigger than you and do a collab, because a lot of times if you can come together and make a really good video, as I'm doing like this inner weird thing with my hands, but like if you can make a really good video together, it will have really positive results. So I did one with Bengal about a year ago, and I gained 200 subs in a week.
Speaking of subs, you hit a milestone.
I hit 1,900. We'll see if I stay there. I really want to hit 2K. I want to hit 2K really bad. Yeah. But yeah, collabs are great. And the thing is, Andy's
collabs.
We've got to do more, honestly. Me and you.
We've done one,
but I don't feel like it was our best. I don't feel like it was our best effort, me and you.
I don't remember it.
Well, that's why you don't remember it, because it really wasn't our best effort. But the one that I did most recently with Bengal, like that was a video that I was really proud of. Like when I got done doing it, I was like, that's a good video. And it ended up helping my channel, his channel, probably much more my channel than his, but nevertheless.
I think we played Draft Champions.
We did play Draft Champions, and I selected Colin Kaepernick, and I remember very specifically I was scrambling a lot with Kaepernick, and you were like, "Oh God, he won't stop scrambling."
I don't remember this video at all.
It was funny. It was like, but we were newer content creators, and
it's like 2 years ago.
We didn't know each other that well. I think at that time, both me and you did not do face cam on our YouTube videos.
I think I did.
I don't think you did at that time.
I did face cam early.
Maybe you did. Hey, let me ask you before we move on to our next topic. So my answer was Twitter. Yours was YouTube. But collaborating with other YouTubers, and that's a great answer. I like how you think outside of the box, Andy. Because as a content creator, you got to think outside the box. So I like how you're doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but are you? So if someone was starting a YouTube channel tomorrow, because I had this question come up about a week ago,
Yeah.
and I told them you absolutely want to do this. I don't care how you look. Like, I don't care if you look like Jabba the Hutt, okay? Because people like Jabba the Hutt.
Pizza the Hut.
That's fine. Like, people love Pizza Hut. Yeah.
No, not Pizza Hut. Pizza the Hut.
I mean, that's fine. Pizza Hut's fine.
Baseballs.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that's fine. Like, people don't care. They like that character too.
Try it out.
So if you're starting a YouTube channel, do you recommend face cam or do you not?
Yeah, I recommend it.
If you're doing gaming, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think most things you should probably put your face there.
Okay.
Mostly everything.
Because my response to them was, I regret not doing it sooner.
Because it makes it more personal.
You're absolutely right.
It's more personal to, like, they see who you are. They also, like, for gaming videos, there's nothing going on the screen. Like, Bengal told me this whenever he started doing face cams, because I did face cams for, like, all of you. Bengal's like, I kind of realized when watching your videos, whenever there's nothing really going on in the game, I just find myself, like, looking at your face cam.
Yeah.
And look at.
I think it's better user engagement. I think you bring up a really good point there. I also think that you get, especially for gaming, emotions, right?
Yeah.
People pick up that.
There's like a whole different kind of comedy with face cam.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I just, and I can't say this enough. Like, I regret not doing it sooner. As soon as I switched over and I started making videos, and I started watching.
I think you're the last one to do it.
No, Jerome is, because Jerome never did.
Oh, yeah, Jerome hasn't.
Taylor for the win never did it either. Ninkata. Anyway, no,
he never did a face reveal. I've only seen his face through Snapchat.
Ouch. So
he quit. So
that's very true though. Taylor for the win. I love you. I miss you. Anyway. Oh God! If you're watching the video version, that's why you have the webcam on, so you get those emotions. But no, but seriously, man, like, as soon as I started doing it, like, I don't know if you're like me. When I edit a video, I usually watch it, like, I watch it as I'm editing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't rewatch it.
When I was editing some of my first face cam videos, I remember just thinking to myself, I should have done this so much sooner. Like, this is coming out so much better.
I did it after, like, my 8th video.
Yeah,
or like, not really, like, it was really early, like first 20.
I resisted and resisted and resisted, and when I finally did it,
I always forget how long it took you, because your best series, in my opinion, it'll do too.
I love that you love that. Yeah, you
don't have a face cam in any of those.
You know what's funny though is you reached out to me about that series recently, and you're like, yeah, I went back and I watched an episode, and I was like, where's the face cam?
Yeah, I was like, what?
Like, you get used to it.
I forgot it took you forever to get face cam on.
Yeah, man, I resisted for so long, but I think it's, I mean, like, my favorite version of this podcast is the video version. I think the video version kills all the others, but that's just me. So let's move on real quick before we move on to our next listener question, or maybe some sports topic here. Yeah. Let's point out that the Pokemon starter poll surprised both of us. Like, I thought Charmander might have won.
I thought it was gonna blow out, like, completely destroy the competition.
I was expecting almost an even split, and Charmander really took it.
Yeah. It wasn't really that. Charmander came in at 39%, number one. And then Squirtle right behind him, 3% less at 36%. Then old Bulbasaur at 25%.
Poor
sorry,
Bulbasaur.
The reasons I'm broke.
Yeah, sorry, the reasons I'm broke. He tried really hard too. I was rooting for Bulbasaur, and just couldn't pull it out. You still playing Pokemon?
Not beat it yesterday.
You beat it?
Well, that run, yeah.
Oh man, because I think when we talked, you said like you were almost there.
Yeah, well, I think I had one badge when we talked last about it.
That's pretty cool.
But I also have speed up, so I'm like going like 4 times speed when I'm walking around.
So, what do we got next, Andy?
Do you just want to go to the next user submitted question?
Let's go ahead and do it.
All right, we have one from, well, you know more, so I'll let you.
Jared, and he goes by Spoon Sandwich. Yeah, Spoon Sandwich on Twitter. He's actually looking at starting a gaming channel in the near future himself. I can't wait to see it. But
Get a face cam.
he was asking about our thoughts on the effect of games like Fortnite on YouTube or Twitch channels that had primarily focused on another game, like, for example, Madden, right?
And you worded that a little bit wrong.
Okay, go ahead and...
Channels that focus on games like, let's say they're a Madden channel, and Fortnite takes over, and they start making Fortnite videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to lead off on that, or...
You got it.
Okay, so I know I've talked about this a little bit in the past, but I think that... So first off, I look at it from two perspectives, right? So number one, as a content creator, I would tell you should always do what you're passionate about. Yeah. So I totally get it. I think there's a lot of people out there where... When did Fortnite really blow up, Andy? Could you tell me, or do you not know offhand? Was it like December? It feels like December, January, maybe, of this year?
I would say February.
February of 2018. Okay, let's just say...
It's February, March. That's when Drake played Ninja, and it really blew up.
Okay, so let's just say, like, the beginning of 2018, Fortnite really rises to, like, very high mainstream levels of relevance. Ever. Absolutely. The highest concurrent user base, right? Yeah. Downloads off the charts. Is making a lot of money, too, on microtransactions. It's a free game, but it was making a lot of money. So... yeah. Fortnite was riding high, man. And I did see a lot of, I would call it like almost an exodus of sorts of people moving from Madden. Because that's the community that I'm most in touch with, is the Madden community. But I did hear that there were people in the Call of Duty community, the Battlefield community, the PUBG community, I mean, you name it, Minecraft even, where people were moving to Fortnite and doing almost exclusively Fortnite content. So as a content creator, I get it. Those people are just doing what they're passionate about. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I would tell you, never stray from that. Like, I've said it a billion times on my channel. Like, if you're playing a game that you hate, it's going to come across, and people are not going to be entertained.
Especially with face cam.
Especially with the face cam. So... like, I mean, from a content creator perspective, I tell people, go for it. The effect, it's pretty monumental. Like, a lot of content creators I saw struggled with it. Their audiences didn't necessarily tolerate it. I will say, again, I'm most familiar with the Madden community of content creators. A lot of Madden guys were like, what is this cartoon shooting game? And why is this on my Madden channel that I love so much and I've watched for years?
Yeah, the Call of Duty guys are a bit different.
Call of Duty guys, I think, were more accepting of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a shooter.
Yeah.
And also, most of the Call of Duty fans are playing Fortnite.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it was kind of jarring for someone. Yeah. So, the best example I could give you is RBT. Really nice guy, by the way. Like, I want to be very clear. Like, I have nothing against the guy. He's awesome. He's helped me out. Yeah, he's a really cool dude. I had like one really, really brief conversation with him. He's the coolest dude. But he switched primarily to Fortnite for a while there, because you just kind of burn out on Madden. I get that. And there were some people who really let him hear it, So like you're going to deal with some backlash. But here's the one thing I will say is I've been a huge beneficiary of this. Yeah. So like a lot of Madden creators stopped and they started doing almost Fortnite exclusively, and I saw all these new people on my channel. So it's just with gaming videos, I feel like it's supply and demand. There's always going to be people out there looking for Madden videos. There's always going to be people out there looking for Minecraft, Madden. There's going to be varying levels of it, but like if you have the supply, there will be a demand for it. Yeah. It's a little bit harder if you're playing, I don't know, Yu Hakusho on GBA on YouTube, but I don't know. It is interesting though. But I follow your heart, man. How do you feel, Andy? On that?
I don't know. The moving to Fortnite, it depends on when you did it, to be honest.
Well, you did it, right?
Well, I did it, yeah, but it didn't help me because I did it really late. Like if you just stick to it, it could be beneficial to your channel. You grow more, but also you kind of lose all your base fans that don't like the game. And then you people like you, so like it's still like you said, supply and demand. There's so much demand, or there's so much supply of Fortnite videos. There's more supply than demand, I feel like.
Oh man, I was
There's
loving
so
it.
many people making Fortnite videos.
I was loving it
But whenever
when
everyone quit, you were like the only one of like 4 streamers every day on Madden.
dude, I was loving it. I saw people like on Twitter like, screw Madden, I'm coming to
Yeah.
Fortnite. I'm only gonna do Fortnite videos, and I'm like, come to Papa Swordfish. Just bring the viewers.
And then I stopped making content.
Oh God. Here's the thing, man. Like, so from a viewer perspective, like, I'm a huge fan of your channel, right? Massive fan of your channel. I'm probably the president and a member of the Andy fan club, right?
Yeah.
But when you got away from Madden and started doing Fortnite, it's like, I'm gonna watch this because it's Andy.
Yeah,
And I
you
think
told me.
there are a lot of viewers that are like this, where Andy, you could be playing like Hamtaro on the GBA, and people will be like, I don't care, it's Andy, I'm gonna watch it. Like people like Braden, right? He's at every stream, no matter what you play, he's always there. So like your hardest
B-man now.
B-man, yeah. Shout out to B-man. Seriously, like anybody who's like a hardcore, like they like you. It's not just what you're playing. Like they're gonna follow you regardless. But man, I gotta say, like there were times where I was like, man, I wish Andy would just make a Madden video again. Because I love watching you play Madden. It's just so like I'm gonna follow you no matter what you do because it's what you're passionate about. But like, man, I miss those Madden. Like you made some killer Madden videos, like the ultimate comeback video, the one where you beat a guy 98-2. You know,
96-2.
Yeah,
Real friends would have known.
Some of the draft champions, elite round. Like I missed that. I don't know. It's just, but
a different person.
Yeah, no, not a different person. Nah. Should do more. What do you mean?
I'll never top those videos.
What videos?
The ultimate comeback.
Oh, dude, come on, man! Don't be like that.
Yeah.
Don't be
Best
like
video
that.
ever.
Nah, I feel like your content gets better over time, not worse.
Well, yeah. I mean, have you seen my first video?
Dude, didn't we do that one night? Wasn't there a night where we went back and we watched like each other's old videos and we're like, oh my God, we're so bad.
There was one I did on stream too.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Anyway. So yeah, I hope that covers Jared's topic pretty well. That's a good one. But thank you to The Reasons I'm Broke and Jared for submitting those questions. We certainly appreciate it. So, Andy, what do we got next?
You just want to head into the sports?
Let's head into sports.
All right. The first thing, I want to start with baseball or basketball?
Let's do baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah.
First have the biggest trade in baseball so far this season. Got Manny Machado going to the Dodgers for 5 prospects. A pretty big trade. Apparently, Machado is going to play shortstop and third, allegedly, which he didn't really want to do. He just want to play shortstop. But the rich get richer. The Dodgers. In MVP candidate Manny Machado.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, the Orioles just had to get rid of him, to be honest. He's going to leave anyways.
Yeah.
They got 5 prospects for him.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know much about the prospects that they got. I feel like they got one probably good one. I don't know. I didn't look really that much into it. Manny Machado, best shortstop in the league, arguably. Probably is. Going to the Dodgers helps their World Series odds. And there's no one really else in the National League that is going to contend with them, so they basically guarantee their spot in the World Series with the whole team being healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it. So as a Marlins fan, I'm very familiar with this sort of thing happening.
The 305 boy himself, Manny Machado.
For, like, I guess a slightly different reason than the Orioles. So here's the way I looked at it. The Orioles were in a tough position. Yeah. They have that really bad contract with Chris Davis. that probably looked okay at the time,
Well, yeah,
but
I'm pretty sure they signed it right after he led the league in home runs.
yeah, but like right after it was signed, his play
Yeah.
started to decline, and Chris Davis was a late bloomer to begin with. Like a lot of people don't realize that, but like if you don't do a little research on Chris Davis, and you'll see like he kind of hung out in the minors and Texas's program for a while before he really hit his stride, and he had a couple really good years. And I was a big Chris Davis fan, but a little bit of a late bloomer. And a lot of times it is dangerous to give someone like that long term of a deal.
Yeah.
When their game is predicated on really doing one thing very well.
Well, you have experience with that.
What is that?
Giancarlo.
Very, very astute analysis. You're spot on there, sir. You see where I'm going with this. So when you hand somebody a contract like that, it really does hamstring you, because now comes a guy like Manny Machado, who honestly, I'd rather, if the Orioles today could give Chris Davis's contract to Machado, they'd do it in a heartbeat, right? I mean, you'd pay him whatever. I mean, you'd pay him. Who am I thinking of? Carlos Beltran money.
Yeah.
You know, like give him a 10-year, $200 million deal, which at the time Carlos Beltran got that, and it was unheard of, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Machado probably will get a deal like, I don't know, like Mike Trout's first big deal, or Bryce Harper's first big deal, or, I mean, he could make Giancarlo Stanton money and it'd be worth it, because he's really just
And
that
the Dodgers
good.
can't afford it.
Yeah, they just can't afford it. So it's kind of it kind of sucks, man. You know, because he could be a guy that you could build around for 10 solid years, and they just don't have that anymore. So they couldn't pay him. He was probably going to leave even
And
then.
also they're in the division with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and they have that locked up for the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next decade.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a tough position to be in. Baltimore's in a tough division anyway.
Yeah.
Like if you look at them historically, they've always struggled because of that division they're in. And you know, when you have to trade someone like that, it's you want to get a good return. I feel like they got a pretty good return. They got 5 prospects. They got one who was the top prospect in LA's system. Looks like a guy who's going to be able to come up to the majors real soon and contribute. And then the rest of the 4, you know, it's like anything else. You hope that you get 1 or 2 quality starters out of it. Anything beyond that would be a good thing. What I will say is the Orioles, if I were the Orioles, I kind of wish I did this sooner.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they may have gotten a better haul in the offseason. Could be wrong on that. But I kind of wonder, could they have gotten a better deal in the offseason? The other thing is it's a little risky from the Dodgers' perspective. Because let's just say he decides he wants to bail. Because did he give them like a formal commitment?
I don't think so yet.
Okay.
Probably not.
So like he could literally bail.
Yeah.
And go sign with anybody. And this happened with Aroldis Chapman not too recently, right?
Yeah.
Where he got traded, and then he was just like, I'm just going
to the Cubs.
Yeah, and then he's like, I'm just going to sign with the Yankees. I don't care. So I mean, like you can absolutely have that happen. So
but the thing, I don't know.
But if you're the Dodgers, you got to make that move, right? Because you're trying to win a World Series.
Like it worked with Chapman though. Like the Cubs got the World Series. So I mean, he leaves okay, but they still got the ring.
Quick question, but I don't want to get off on a tangent here. Do you think the Cubs win that World Series without Aroldis Chapman? Because I don't think they do.
I mean, he does a lot of dumb mistakes in that playoffs too.
I'm just saying, like, if that World Series, the World Series itself, like, I don't think they win without him.
Yeah.
So I'm in agreement with you. It's worth it. It you know, the trade was worthwhile. Overall, though, I mean, I feel like Baltimore got a pretty good haul feel like they probably got the best deal they could. And then, I don't know if you saw this, but before it happened, apparently they started a bidding war. Like several organizations were making offers. So I feel like they got a really good deal on it.
Apparently he wants to go to New York. That's the thing.
Does everybody want to go to New York? God dang, man. I just sound like a bitter Florida Marlins fan. But you know what? If I'm a Dodgers fan, I like it. It's a risky move, but if you win a World Series this year, it's totally worth it. If he signs with you long term, it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
You got 3 months to convince the guy to stay in LA. LA's a nice place to live.
Yeah.
So overall, pretty good trade.
You win it all. That's also good convincing. It's like, we already have this good thing. Why leave?
You know what I got to give Manny Machado credit for, though? Yeah. Again, as a bitter Marlins fan, he didn't pull the whole, I only want to be traded to this team, this team, this team, and this team.
Well, I don't think he had no trade clause.
I'm just saying.
It kind of benefits when you have a no trade clause.
Stanton killed the Marlins with that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Marlins had great deals coming back, because here's the problem with the Stanton contract. Is the Stanton contract, I don't care how good he is, they overpaid him.
Yeah.
They overpaid him to stay in Miami. So, you're asking a lot. And there's only so many teams that could support that. Even the Marlins are sending money.
He's not doing so hot right now. He's third in most striking out in the league.
I don't care.
And then Aaron Judge is one.
I'm happy to see him be terrible as a Yankee.
Yeah.
You bailed on the Marlins. I don't wish you any ill will, Giancarlo. But beyond that, you're dead to me. You're dead to me.
Yeah.
I hope you have a great life. I don't wish anything bad happening to you, but I don't care about you anymore. But yeah, man. Manny Machado is a Dodger. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
What if they get eliminated in the first round of the playoffs?
That's the Dodgers.
What kind of a meltdown would that front office have? What do we need to do?
Just fire everyone.
Because their payroll is so huge.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been able to put it together.
They always choke.
So speaking of MLB, there's another big trade that went down today.
Yeah.
You want to go over that one?
Yeah, Brad Hand and Adam Simber, I think is how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
For Francisco Mejia. Two bullpen guys. One has Simber has a 3-point-something ERA. He's technically a prospect, but he's 27 years old. And Brad Hand's been one of the best relievers in the league for the past couple of years for the 15th best prospect in the MLB, going to the Padres. Indians making a move. Their bullpen hasn't been that good this season, with Andrew Miller being hurt, and I think there's 3 or 4 guys that have higher than a 5 ERA in the bullpen. They got
that bullpen that was basically their best asset.
Dominant.
Yeah, it was their best asset a year ago, has kind of fallen apart into disrepair.
Yeah.
So, personally, I think this is really the ideal trade for professional sports, because traditionally a trade is something that benefits both sides.
Well, that's what it should be.
It should be, but so many times, because of contracts and circumstantial things like trade demands and so on, it doesn't always end up that way. But this is one of those traditional trades where you go, wow, this is old school baseball trades. Cleveland needs some relievers to shore up a bullpen. They got 2 quality relievers that can hopefully do that. Now, as well as I do, pitchers have traditionally struggled going NL to AL as a pitcher. Yeah. So we'll see if that works. But here's the thing about Cleveland. I feel like they have all but locked up their division. So they have plenty of time to figure out where those guys are going to slot in, how they can contribute, how they can better that team, things like that. So, I think it's a good short-term move for them. I realize a lot of people will say it does hurt to give away a prospect like Mejia, but here's the thing. I don't know that they really had a whole lot of use for the guy, because they didn't have a whole lot of rush to bring this guy up to the major league roster, play him at catcher, and I know the discussion was they were potentially thinking about moving him to an outfield slot, which I don't know is really the way to go with this fella. Padres, they get their catcher for the next 10 years if they really want to keep the guy.
They have 10 of the top 100 prospects right now.
See, I think Mejia is pretty much MLB ready. I think he's main roster ready. I think you could bring him up. I know that they have that. I forget exactly when, but there's a point in the year where they can just bring up all the minor leaguers. There's no roster limit. I think they'll probably just bring them up if they don't do it sooner and let them play out the rest of the year in spot situations and see what they got. And, that's probably their catcher going forward. Great move for the Padres. We're going nowhere.
Yeah.
Might as well
just beef up the future, just like the White Sox.
I like what the White Sox are doing.
Yeah.
See, I like that the White Sox were smart enough to say that what we got here isn't going to work. Let's blow it up.
We got Chris Sale. That's about it.
Well,
Chris Sale and Jose Abreu.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where we were talking about Daniel earlier. Daniel's a huge White Sox fan, and huge Chris Sale fan, by the way. I mean, how could you not be?
I mean, I am too. I love the guy.
I mean, God, he's a phenom.
Yeah.
Honestly, Chris Sale is a freak of nature. He's got all this size. He's left-handed.
Yeah. Best left-handed in the league.
He throws pitches that you're like, good God, how do you hit it? I mean, it's just he's this great talent. As a White Sox fan, I know Daniel and a lot of other White Sox fans were like, man, if we could just blow it up and just keep Chris Sale.
Yeah.
But it's kind of tempting because the offers are going to roll in for a guy like that, and you're going to be able to get crazy prospects back for him. But I respect that, man. If it's not going to work out for you, blow it up, get a bunch of prospects, get your farm system. That's what the Astros did. I mean, look at the Astros roster. It's all mostly prospects that they developed or traded for. So
there was literally just a trade that just happened. This just in.
Breaking news.
It's not that big of a trade, though.
Breaking DCD news.
Bullpen pitcher Jesse Chavez traded to the Cubs for a minor league pitcher. That's nothing real big.
Yeah, that's nothing huge. J.A. Happ. I think J.A. Happ gets moved.
Yeah.
The Machado.
Russell's moving.
The Machado trade, it was every year there's like a domino. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like the one trade everybody's waiting for, and then after that, like all the other trades like pile in. And the Machado one was that. So like as soon as that was finalized, like you notice they're starting to slowly trickle in like all the other moves because that's the one fascinating thing about baseball, man. At this time of year, there's buyers, there's sellers, and there's not a lot of in between. So I'm hoping the Marlins don't gut their roster any further, but I think they're going to.
There's probably going to be a lot of trades before this comes out the next time we record this.
I think so, yeah. But, yeah, man, good trade for both teams. I think it'll work out for both of them. Speaking of trades, let's move to the NBA here for a moment since we're on the sports tangent.
Yeah.
Carmelo Anthony traded. Okay, so first off, I don't know about you, but I didn't think anybody was going
to trade for him.
I didn't think anybody was going to want to trade for him. I didn't think there was a team out there who wanted to take on that salary and buy him
$28 million.
Yeah, but the Hawks were like, we're here, and we're willing to give up a troubled young player, plus some other stuff.
Dennis Schroeder went back to the team that drafted him, I'm pretty sure.
Did the Thunder draft him?
I'm pretty sure. Well, let me Google it.
I could have sworn he was drafted by the Hawks.
I don't know.
He had to have been traded.
I could be stupid.
He must have been traded draft night.
No, never mind. I'm stupid. Never mind.
Are you thinking about Reggie Williams?
He's still there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. He got drafted by the Hawks. Now he's on Thunder.
I'm sorry, not Reggie Williams. Reggie Jackson,
Yeah.
who plays for the Pistons last time I checked.
Carmelo and Justin Anderson to the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Then Carmelo got cut.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mike Muscala to the 76ers. And Timothy Luwawu Cabarrot goes to the Thunder. And Dennis Schroeder. Pretty sure.
So Dennis Schroeder, sidebar here real quick. When he came into the league, I thought this guy's going to be something special. Like, I really like, I'm a big Dennis Schroeder guy. Like, I think that he has a lot of time. The whole time, he was drafted, came in the league, kind of developing. I was like, man, if this kid can get better with his shooting, he's really going to be something. He has gotten better with his shooting. I think he does need to still work on efficiency. But I got to say, huge pickup by the Thunder. I know he's a little bit troubled because he has that legal action against him that's pending. Like, he beat the hell out of somebody. That's not good, okay? But we don't know all the facts.
Yeah.
He hasn't formally been convicted of anything. It's a pending legal thing. We'll see what comes of it. Certainly a guy who has had work ethic questions in his time in Atlanta. I know that when he was in Atlanta, a lot of people kind of had this attitude of, he was like the kid in a candy store, because he came into the league when I think he was 18 or 19 years old, right? So 18 or 19 years old, and 19. He is 19. Instant millionaire, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. There are a lot of 19-year-olds where if they were instant millionaires would be like a kid in a candy store and would be partying all the time and would have work ethic issues. Well, yeah, I don't know what you do. Buy a bunch of Rubik's Cubes.
Get a new computer.
Get a new computer. Oh, my God. I don't know, dude. Like, I mean, but, like, you're smart. Not every person's that level-headed, Like, it's tough to say how it would go until it happens to you, right? So,
buy a house.
I feel like the guy has, some work ethic questions, some, legal problems that could be pending, but he had a good year last year.
Yeah.
So he's going to go out to Oklahoma.
Be a backup.
Probably be the first guard off that bench.
Yeah.
I think he'd succeed in that role. The other thing is, it kind of intrigues me that somehow, like, Oklahoma City, they continue to fascinate me with how good they are in trades. For example, they got Serge Ibaka, who was on an expiring deal. They managed to get Victor Oladipo and Sabonis for Serge Ibaka's expiring deal, and then they turned Oladipo into Paul George. Yeah. And then here they are turning
somehow signed Paul George that no one thought would happen.
And they got Carmelo Anthony's Titanic of a contract.
Yeah.
Because it started off so great and it was totally worth it, and at the very end it just failed. And they managed to turn that into Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
In cap space. And luxury tax leniency. Like, it's unbelievable what that front office has done. Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder, does Oklahoma City just have like some dirt on other GMs? Like, do they know that Atlanta's GM like did some shady stuff behind a Walmart one night?
It's what they got to do to, like, no one's a free agent like, I want to go to Oklahoma City. Not a real big free agent destination. It's like they got to win through trades and drafts.
It's like Sam Presti knows where all the bodies are buried. Like, where all the NBA GMs have killed people and buried the bodies. And, like, he's holding them. Because these deals, like, it's just an incredible deal for OKC. I guess for Atlanta, it's good because they needed to jettison Schroeder in some way. And I guess this will get them short-term financial flexibility. Yeah. But I didn't think anybody was going to take that albatross of a contract. I mean, how do you feel about it?
I feel like Carmelo is happy. She gets $28 million and becomes a free agent. Goes wherever he wants. Probably going to Houston.
You think that's pretty much a done deal? Because I do.
Yeah, that's like most likely, like 95% chance he goes to Houston.
at this point in his career, are you like me where, because like me personally, I feel like he has limited options as far as teams that he would fit with.
I feel like, I mean, he wants to play with his good pal CP3.
Do you think he's capable of playing small forward at this point in his career?
I think he should play 6-man, but he doesn't want to.
No, but he can't. Okay, so he's not. He says he's not coming off the bench.
Yeah, he needs to.
He'd probably play. In my opinion, he's better suited to play power forward in a small ball system.
But he had to play small forward there at Houston. They lost Trevor Ariza.
You ever feel like sometimes teams get caught up on like, it's Carmelo Anthony, we need him, but you don't need him.
He hasn't been good for like the past 4 or 5 years.
Unfortunately, like I don't know how long you followed Carmelo's career because of your youth, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like he got drafted in 2003.
About the Nuggets.
Yeah. He won a national championship with Syracuse.
Yeah.
The year before, his 1 year.
He was a baller with the Nuggets.
He was a baller with the Nuggets. But his whole career, what was the one thing everybody always said about Carmelo is
he doesn't have a ring?
He's just a scorer.
Oh. Well,
now Carmelo might here's the thing though, like watching Carmelo in college with the Nuggets, with the Knicks, even with OKC.
Yeah.
And certainly when he played in the Olympics, okay, Carmelo Anthony might be the best scorer I've ever watched. Okay?
Yeah.
He's unbelievable at getting the ball in the basket. But he doesn't do one other thing at an elite level.
What, pass?
He doesn't pass at an elite level. He doesn't play defense at an elite. He doesn't do one. There's not one thing other than scoring that he does at an elite level. Every other thing he does is like above average or okay or below. Yeah. Like he is. It's so weird. Like he's such a weird. Like when his career is over, you're gonna sit there and go like, my God, might be the best scorer of all time, but he did nothing else at an like well above average level, and it's weird. It's just bizarre. It's gonna be a really crazy career if he never wins a championship, because you're gonna be like, wow, he's kind of like a Bernard King maybe.
He'll have no legacy if he doesn't win a ring.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I always thought like when he got drafted by the Nuggets. Because quite honestly, Detroit should have drafted him. Yeah, they took Milicic.
Darko Milicic.
Yeah. Oh God,
the boxer.
Oh God, he played for Orlando for a year.
Yeah.
Disaster. One of the biggest busts of all time. Like I know there's a lot of bad overall too. Wait, what?
It's a great draft class.
It is. How crazy is it to think that Detroit, who had just won a championship, okay, they had won the NBA championship, drafts Darko Milicic. They could have had Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh.
They went with Darko.
They could have had all of those guys. They should have taken Carmelo.
Yeah.
Because Carmelo would have gone on that team, and they would have been able to be like, well, now we can score and play defense. Because they had the guys around. They would have had the guys around Carmelo to shore up
Chauncey Billups,
Rasheed Wallace, Richard Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince. You just put Carmelo in and have him play a little shooting guard, a little small forward throughout the, maybe play him 30 minutes a game, right?
Yeah.
And he could score. But Joe Dumars really thought Milicic was the answer. Anyway, Anthony, man, like really weird career. I think we're entering the last phase of his career. I think he'll get
last phase of that draft class.
Not for LeBron, but for everybody else, yeah.
LeBron wants to play till he has a kid, or his kid plays. He has a kid. He wants to play till he wants to retire whenever he's played with this kid.
You know who else I think would have had a really good long career if it wasn't for health reasons? His game would have aged really well. Chris Bosh.
Oh, Chris Bosh.
Chris
Yeah.
Bosh, man, from that draft class. Chris Bosh, had it not been for his health concerns, I feel like that guy could have played till he was
Retired
40.
too early.
Because his game would have aged well. He was a good shooter.
Yeah.
He had soft touch.
You see, Jabari Parker talking about Derrick Rose.
No, what did he have to say?
Jabari Parker went to the Bulls. You didn't know.
I did know.
And they're like his first interview. A lot of people were like, for some reason, Derrick Rose kept on coming up because they went to the same high school, Simeon High School, where Derrick Rose, him, and people argue the best high school player ever, Benji. He got murdered in high school. You don't know who that is.
I didn't remember him, yeah.
But they're talking about Derrick Rose, and he's just like, people are like, you know, they always make fun of Derrick Rose. They're like, he was the youngest MVP ever, but then he got in injuries. But Jabari's like, he did what he did. He's one of the best Bulls ever. You can't just let injuries tarnish his name. If he didn't get injured, he would still probably be one of the best Bulls ever behind Michael Jordan.
I agree with you. I don't like Derrick Rose. I have major questions about his drive to play basketball. I have major questions about his commitment to the game of basketball, and I certainly have questions about him from an ethical standpoint because of some of the things that he did when he was in Memphis, some of the things that he did to get into Memphis. Like, you know, I'm sorry when you pay somebody to take the SATs for you because you can't be bothered to take the test. Like, it's not fair to the other kids that are actually taking the SATs. It's not fair to the other guys that are trying to get scholarships, right? Nevertheless, yeah, one of the greatest Bulls ever. So, didn't he win the MVP in his second year? It was either his second year or his third year in the league.
The youngest MVP ever.
Meteoric rise. Like, the Bulls were garbage. They had been trying to rebuild since the Jordan era until Derrick Rose came along and made them relevant again. Like, you know, the only thing that stopped Derrick Rose from being one of the best players in the Eastern Conference and having great playoff series with the likes of LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and all them is he had a knee that just got jacked up. Like, Derrick Rose reminds me so much of Anthony Hardaway, where Anthony Hardaway, like, not as good a scorer as Derrick Rose, certainly not the same type of player, but Anthony Hardaway would have been the best point guard in the NBA, but his knee got jacked up.
That one's a little bit close to heart.
Oh, well, yeah. But, like, he would have been the best point guard in the NBA.
That Magic would have been champions.
He was 6'8", playing point guard, and he could do everything.
They had Shaq around him.
Mm-hmm.
They had
Horace Grant,
Duke. Yeah.
Nick Anderson,
Grant Hill.
Scott. Grant Hill came later.
Oh.
That was 2000.
They had Tracy that time?
Yeah, well, they got Tracy McGrady. They signed 2000. They signed Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, and they came real close to getting Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
And Tim Duncan said he wanted to stay in San Antonio, and that was a very good decision by him.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, man, Anthony Hardaway, if it wasn't for the knee going out on him, and that's how I feel about Derrick Rose, even though I don't like the guy.
Yeah.
Good God. Like, the second time he effed up that knee, I was like, it's just not fair.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to cry for him. Like, good God, this sucks.
Yeah.
Because he was entertaining to watch.
I hope that doesn't happen to Gordon Hayward.
Don't speak things like that into existence. Like, I'm a huge Gordon Hayward fan. Like,
he played 5 minutes last year.
I loved watching him at Butler, and like, I mean, I get the people in Utah who are mad that he left, but he did so much in Utah, and I was like, man, he's gonna turn Boston upside down. And then that freak injury.
Speaking of Boston being the best in the East, and the Spurs a little bit earlier, there's a big trade also. DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. A couple other pieces that no one really cares about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A trade that both players don't want to happen. DeMar DeRozan's not happy to go to Spurs, and Kawhi was not happy to go to Toronto. Apparently, he's like lighting up to it. Apparently, they had a discussion with the Raptors. He's happy about it. But that's a big trade right there. Kawhi Leonard actually getting traded.
I think that Kawhi Leonard will get over it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that it's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
There's a good chance going to the East with
it's the LA of Canada.
Well, with LeBron now gone from Cleveland.
Yeah. He's the best player in the East.
Toronto is in what I would consider to be a 2-team race to get to the NBA Finals.
2.7.
2.7?
Yeah, the Philly, if Markelle can shoot.
Too young. too young. Too young.
The Celtics are younger than them, though.
Yeah, but, here's the thing. Like, coaching.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Celtics on that team that are playoff. Kyrie Irving has played in an NBA Finals. He has won in an NBA Finals. He would be the de facto leader of that locker room. Gordon Hayward has played in the playoffs. Al Horford has played in the playoffs, gone deep in the playoffs. There are guys in that locker room who have been there before. With Philly, they got Redick.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, huge JJ Redick fan because I'm a Magic fan. But my thing is,
hasn't made it past the second round.
It's a lot. No. JJ Redick played in an NBA Finals in 2009, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Please respect the Magic.
And then Dwight left.
It's the only thing we have to be proud of as a fan base. They've gone to the finals twice. But yeah, man, overall, I really feel like it's a 2-team race in the East. You get to play with some good players. Toronto is a beautiful city. It's an international city. Historically, players have enjoyed playing there and living there. I would love to visit Toronto myself. But, Kawhi, I think, will lighten up to it. I will say this, though. It's kind of like that Dodgers move. A little bit risky, right?
Yeah, it's a rental. A 1-year rental. Hopefully, they, just like Paul George, he resigns. You got to convince him to stay.
I'm a little scared about DeMar DeRozan.
I feel bad for him because the owner and the GM were like, "We're not going to trade you. You're fine. You're safe." And then just out of nowhere traded.
What if Greg Popovich,
he's in a good spot.
Feeds into the anger.
Yeah.
Of like a scorned DeMar DeRozan and turns him into the greatest shooting guard that the Spurs have ever seen or something like I don't know, dude. Like, if you're DeMar DeRozan, are you not just in full FU mode next year? Like, F you, I'm going to show you this is a huge mistake.
I mean, he's in a good spot. They lost Tony Parker, and now he's coming in. He's the main guard on the team. They got LaMarcus Aldridge.
My cousin.
Yeah, your cousin.
They've got my cousin, LaMarcus Aldridge. Shout out to LaMarcus, man. What up, buddy? Accept that friend request on Facebook. But seriously, man. I think the Spurs are not a bad team.
Yeah,
they're not a bad team at all.
They're just in a bad conference.
And DeMar DeRozan's still pretty young.
Yeah,
he's not old.
Good. Second best shooting guard in the league, probably.
It's not a bad haul for. So here's the thing, though. I saw an article on ESPN where they were kind of second guessing the trade, because ESPN's like, we want Kawhi Leonard in LA, it'll make for a better story. Yeah. Was there anything? Was there anything LA could have offered you that would have been better?
Did you see what the Spurs were asking for?
Yeah.
They would have to give LA would have to give up everything.
I know, but they weren't going to do that. So I'm kudos to the Spurs. They got a good trade.
The only player that they could have given it up, that would be any. I'm not comparing them to the same level, but the only player that'd be similar status would be LeBron, and that's not going to go down. Because Lonzo's not a star. No one else is a star.
Lonzo on the Spurs would be a disaster. Like, there's certain players that just will like, that's like Dwight Howard playing on the Spurs.
Yeah.
It would last for like a week before they just send him home.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not gonna work.
They're big on culture.
Real big on it. But you know what? It's kind of the best way to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, we've talked about this on my streams before, but like, the one thing I admire about the Spurs is the front office, the players, and the coaches.
They've been good for literally 2.5 decades.
They all have the same vision.
Yeah.
Like, it's all the same. Everybody's on the same page. And there's so few teams in professional sports, much less the NBA, that are like that. And I'll never forget, it was about 5 years ago. I knew somebody who worked for the Orlando Magic, and they're like, I'm going to get you into this event. And the CEO of the Magic was there. The new head coach, Jacques Vaughn, he had just been hired, was there. The GM, the assistant GMs were there. The GM wasn't. And I remember the CEO got up, and it was like a real small event. Like, there were like maybe about 100 people there. Yeah. And it's like this real nice place. I'm walking in, and I'm like, oh, God, I shouldn't be here. Like, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, thank God I dressed up. So I go in, and, like, I'm eating all this good food. I'm like, man, like, I don't have anything at home. I got some Hot Pockets at home. Like, I'm eating as much as I can. And I go to the bar to get a beer, and I'm like, how much is a beer? And the guy goes, what do you mean how much? I said, like I, how much do I have to pay for? He goes, no, it's an open bar. I'm like, oh, now I know I'm in a party that I have no business being in, right? So you go to this like little tiny section, this private section of the Amway, and the CEO's up there, Alex Martins, and he's like, yeah, man, we're trying to model our organization off of the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah. And
he was talking about like the front office and the coaches, they have the same vision. And you notice it's all about continuity. It's usually the same players every year. They just make small tweaks. They don't redo the whole roster every 5 years. Like, it's the same guys. And I'm like, wow, that's when you know you're good. When teams, oh God, I gotta bleep that out. I'm sorry. When bad teams are trying to model off of you, like, you did right. So, like, the Spurs, I feel like it's a good trade for them. And
you got to get something for Kawhi.
The alternative was, I think if they couldn't get a good trade, they were just going to be like, dude, either you play or you sit.
They got DeMar for 3 years, I think. 3 or 2 years.
If they could just get him to buy in.
Yeah.
Maybe he could finish his career there. He's a good player. It's a good guy to build around.
Oh. All right, we have one more topic, I guess.
One more topic.
You want to... Oh, wait, it's my topic, so I'll mention, I guess.
Are you okay, man?
I yawned, so I'm like,
are you crying about Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah.
It's okay. Cool. Andy, he's with the Raptors now. The Raptors love him.
But the Celtics were going to win it all. The Celtics had it all. They're going to win. Now they got Kawhi. It's ruined. They had literally no competition. Literally a free ticket. They had a free ticket to the finals. No, and now they got Kawhi.
Yeah, they had the golden ticket, man.
All right.
Jesus.
This is an audio-friendly podcast.
It is. It is.
So, I never really got into specifics of this, but so a long time ago, I had a dream. All right.
Okay.
And it's just a casual dream. You chilling. I was at my grandma's house playing the N64. And then the zombie apocalypse happens. So before I give you my take, I'll give you, do you think the zombie apocalypse could happen?
Mm, see, here's the thing. Like, I feel like if something like that was gonna happen, it
Yeah.
probably would have happened already.
Yeah.
Just from a scientific standpoint. Like, I get that it's fun to think about,
Yeah.
but I feel like if it, like, from a scientific perspective, and I'm no scientist, by the way, I want to make that
Yeah.
really clear, but, like, don't you think it would either take something supernatural, which is very unlikely, maybe completely unlikely,
Yeah.
or it would take something like, for example, Walking Dead, where, like, they explain it as in it's a virus,
Yeah.
right? And it's a virus that, like, reanimates bodies even though they're clinically dead. Like, I feel like it would take some, like, massively mutated virus or something supernatural to happen. So I feel like both of those are very unlikely. But I do think it is interesting to think about zombie apocalypse scenarios and what one would do in a scenario like that.
See, my dream. This is gonna happen. Zombie apocalypse happened. Like, but me, as just a a logical thinker, the internet's a thing. If the zombie apocalypse breaks out, everyone knows they exist, and like all the zombies will be just destroyed in like an hour. Like the person that ate that dude's face in Florida.
Oh,
Like,
the
what if he
bath
was-
salts guy, yeah.
Yeah. Like if a zombie apocalypse happened, unless it's like the virus where like everyone gets it. But it'll also be like Ebola though. You know? We just find a way to eliminate it instantly.
I mean, it depends on where it would break out. So, like, if it broke out in the U.S., I feel like the U.S. military would do kind of like Resident Evil movies. I don't know if you watched that series. Did you?
No.
Okay, so, like, in one of the Resident Evil movies, they do what I actually would consider to be very realistic. Like, they find out that it's centralized in one city. So they basically
Raccoon
build...
City?
They do like a Trump. They're like, we're gonna build a wall around the city. It's gonna be a great wall, great things. Yeah, but like they build a giant
Raccoon City pay for it.
yeah, Raccoon City, great people, smart people, but they're zombies. So like
We're gonna make them pay for
yeah,
it.
they don't know what money is. They don't know. But like so they put like a giant wall around the city and they surround it with military, and like it's such a high wall that like you can see in one of the movies like zombies are trying to like run up the wall but they can't get up that high.
Zombies they could.
Yeah, and well, I mean this is a really high wall, and they got like guys like with Gatling guns, like gunning them down. So like I feel like if it happened in the U.S., like that's what would happen. They'd zone it off, and they'd find a way to eradicate it. But like, imagine a zombie apocalypse in say like India, right, where they don't really have a huge military presence. Like they really wouldn't know how to deal with it. There's a massive like, and here's why I use India: massive population. Like, very small area, very dense population. Like, I hate to sound like Trump. I'm going to be like, China. But, like, China wouldn't work because China has a bunch of people. But, like, it's spread over this big geographic area. Yeah, and they do have a massive military. But, like, somewhere like India where it's a relatively small country considering their population.
What if it was like Madagascar where it's just like an island?
See, then so like then we're talking Jurassic Park stuff where you're like, why do people keep going to this island? Like, just nuke the friggin' island. Like, I remember seeing Jurassic Park 3 in theaters and going like, why are people still going to this island? Like, it's a bad idea.
They gotta make money.
Yeah, we needed another sequel. Michael Crichton demands more money, damn it. But
oh, that reminds me. Okay, I'll hold it. I'll
but
write it down. Give me a second.
Yeah, right. Write it down, but I don't know, man. Like, I feel like it would depend on where it would break out. But I do think that the scenario like that you would take, I think it's interesting to think about. Like, the most intriguing proposal I got was this guy I worked with, and he was like, if there was a zombie apocalypse tomorrow, I would go and I would try to get as many firearms as I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I have a list of friends and family that I would call, and I would try to get them to help me take over this hotel. And this hotel that he was talking about is like somewhat well known in the Orlando area, but not really well known. But it's one of those hotels that's it's kind of like a tall one. Like it's like 30 stories, 30, 40 stories high. And he's like, we would take over the hotel. Yeah. And it's got to have food and supplies in there, so we'd be set for a long time. And we'd get up on the top level, and we'd seal off the entrances all the way around. And we'd just sit up there with the firearms and pick off the zombies. And I was like, you know what? That's actually one of the best fleshed out.
You ever played Dying Light?
That's actually a really good game, but I've not played it. I've watched people play it.
It's in the scenario. They take over a hotel. Take over a big building.
Wow. I wonder if he was maybe somehow, because I know the guy works for Blizzard now. I kind of wonder if he maybe got in touch with somebody in the industry and they kind of took, because he told me this in 2006.
Yeah.
And I was like,
way before the game came out.
I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Maybe he said that to someone and they were like, they made the game.
Also, fun fact, we worked with somebody. He's like, dude, Al. He's like,
what
Al.
about?
He was like, Al, I would pick you because I know you're good with guns. He's like, so yeah. I would call you. And I was like, well, what about the other guy that we work with at this GameStop? And he's like, I wouldn't invite him. And I was like, why? He's like, he's kind of smelly. He's like, dude, I don't want to be in a hotel with that guy. He kind of smells. Like, he's nice.
I feel like everyone in the scenario is smelly.
No, but he was like, dude, he really smells. Like, wow. Yeah. I was like, wow, I didn't really think.
Was it Chester?
No, it was not Dude, come on, man. I didn't work with Cheetos.
I thought it was your best friend.
No. Andy, this is not cool, bro.
I'm sorry. You think he's a fan?
I don't know. I don't want to do episode 4 now. Like, we're canceling. Okay. We're canceling.
Not renewed. So last week,
what would your plan be in a zombie apocalypse? I didn't let you talk about it.
Oh, since I have glasses, pretty much on. It's go until my glasses break, and then I guess suicide.
Well, I guess I'm kind of screwed then, because I also have glasses.
Like, the second my glasses are broken, I'm legally blind. I can't do anything. Like, suicide.
Yeah, like, I have no distance. Like,
I have nothing.
Like, see, you, like, when you told me about, like, your situation without glasses, because I figure, like, most people, I don't mean this in a bad way, please don't take it the wrong way, but, like, yeah, I figure you're like most people, because you're 19, dude. Like, usually people 19 that wear glasses, it's like, oh, I need it for up close or I need it for distance. And you're like, no, dude, I need it for everything.
I'm blind. I'm legit blind.
Yeah. Yeah. How many pairs of glasses do you own?
One.
Really? You don't have like a backup pair? You and me both, brother. Like, we're the only ones that I know that.
Ride or die.
Yeah. The ones I have, those things break. I guess I'm going to Lens Crafters.
Yeah. Then you wait a week and you're boned.
Yeah.
Because I can't wear contacts.
They mess with my eyes too much, man. Like,
I had surgery on my eye, so I can't.
Oh, well, yeah. I get really, really really, really rough. Like, well, actually, it's just really irritated, you know, like.
I think the scenario would go if my glasses actually broke. Try to perform laser eye surgery on myself without without
like,
eyesight.
You're holding the laser and you're like, just hold still.
Do it on myself, like cut my eye open and everything.
Dude, why not just try to track down somebody who could do LASIK, you know? Like, come on, man.
You think that's popular in the zombie apocalypse?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. It is interesting to think about, though. I don't know.
That would be a business in the zombie apocalypse. Hey, give me some, like, a crate of food and I'll give you eyesight.
Well, it is kind of interesting you bring that up because in The Walking Dead, I don't know if do you watch that show?
Garbage.
Okay, well, I watch the show with my wife. She enjoys it. I enjoy it. But there are some characters in there who like have very specialized skills. I won't ruin it for anybody if you're watching, but they're like some people along the way that they meet where you're like, wow, they took their skills from before all this and used it to survive. Like, listen, I'm not a survivalist,
Look here,
right?
look, listen.
But I have, look here, look, listen. Just like I have like
You
a very
can't survive
yeah
without these skills.
appearing offline does not make the zombies disappear. But like they have a very specialized skill and they're like, well, I'm not a survivalist, but I can take that knowledge and use it as leverage to get people to help me survive. And I always thought that was kind of cool and realistic of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah. I just think it's really unlikely. How likely do you think it is? Because you're a very grounded,
0%.
scientific type person.
There's like a chance.
A chance.
But I don't know. I doubt it.
I don't know. You know what really scares me though?
Because it happens like there's legit like technically zombies on Earth.
I've heard about like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Like ants and wasps or something like that. The wasp takes over the ant's brain.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
There's also some scary stuff going on out in the world right now.
I mean, there's also, we don't even know like half the existing animals in the world.
Well, yeah, and then the other thing that kind of scares me is like there's so much stuff that governments are testing on black budgets, right? I really don't want like cue up the X-Files music right now, but like I really don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but there's like so much stuff that governments do on black budgets and experiment with that you go, oh my God, like it could go horribly awry and have major consequences. And if you want if you want an example of something that's declassified that you can research and read hundreds of pages of documents detailing what I'm talking about, look no further than MK Ultra. If you look at MK Ultra and the things that were done that the CIA was doing then, scary, dude. It's scary. Those were people that they did that to.
Like they didn't treat people as
civilians. Yeah, like they gave like hallucinogens
like
to civilians.
All they had to do is give them penicillin. But they didn't. They just let them live with syphilis.
Dude, it's like MK Ultra is one of the darkest things in American history. Like I seriously think like there's some stuff like slavery, the way we treated people all the way up until the civil rights movement, the fact that women couldn't vote in this country for a very long time, what we did to Native Americans. Like there's a lot of dark stuff in American history. MK Ultra is like right up there with all that. It's just not on a major scale. And it's really scary stuff. And it makes you wonder, you're like, if they were doing that 40 years ago, what do you think they're doing now? And you could turn the X-Files music off now. I'm going to stop thinking about conspiracy theories, but
the chemicals in the water.
I don't no, don't do that. Don't do that. Like that one stream where somebody came in my stream like, do your best Alex Jones impression. And I just immediately
in the water.
Yeah. I just immediately went to they're making the frogs gay thing.
The chemicals are making the freaking frogs gay.
But what's sad about that though? I did research what he was talking about.
He's right. Like he's not wrong.
He didn't articulate it well.
Yeah, but he's right.
But like what happened to those frogs was abnormal.
Like he isn't wrong about it. He just isn't.
Yeah, just didn't pitch it in the right way.
He just said the chemicals in the water turn the freaking frogs gay.
It's like when you're breaking bad news to a loved one. There's a way to gently break it.
Yeah.
And then there's a way where you're like, your husband's dead. Like you can't. Well, like when you have to like break bad news to somebody, you're like, I'm going to ease into it.
I thought you could be like, yo, I cheated on you. But you're like, no, your husband's dead.
Well, like that would be like, I boned your best friend. And I liked
Why
it.
you gotta say it like that?
Well, like that's how Alex Jones delivers everything. He screams it,
Something I wrote down while we're talking.
Oh my God, Andy. Oh, if you're not
in the water.
They're making Andy gay.
All right, the thing that I wrote down, something I forgot to mention in the last podcast, when we were talking about me getting roasted at work.
Oh yeah.
I had 2 hot takes. I only mentioned one. But since we talked about Jurassic Park, I think that Land of the Lost, you ever seen that movie?
Yeah.
Is better than all the Jurassic Parks.
I'm not going to disagree because I feel like it comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
It's not a terrible take. It is definitely a hot take.
Yeah.
Especially now, like I can picture people being like, "Oh man, Andy must be drinking that water that the frogs live in," to have that kind of a take. Yeah,
dislike.
Yeah. Oh, you're blocked. Got to do
you
that.
don't like Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's how you have to do it on Twitter. Somebody says one thing you don't agree with, just block them. That shows them.
Yeah, got him.
Yeah, you really won that argument. But
you'll never lose an argument if you just block them.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. I mean, I feel that way about some movies. Like there's some movies that I like for example, Cable Guy. I think that's a great movie. I think that's one of Jim Carrey's best movies. I think it's hilarious. But I only know one person who likes that movie other than me, who feels the same way about that movie other than I do. So like it happens. But
hey, Mom.
No, it's not my mom.
She's like, I'll support you, sweetie.
Yeah. No, that's not what my mom sounds like. That's my great aunt Doris. Do not. What the hell? What was that? Andy. Do you have any,
sweetie?
Yeah. Do you have Oh, did Siri think when you said sweetie, did it think that you said Siri?
No, for some reason my phone just randomly just reads.
Yeah, because I had that happen. I was recording a video and
hey Siri.
I said seriously, and then all of a sudden my phone's like, "Hey, what do you need?"
Hey Siri. It doesn't work.
Nah. Well, that's everything this week, man.
Yeah. Hopefully we get renewed.
Yeah, hopefully we do. Hopefully episode 4 will be out there. If you want to see episode 4, send us a question on Twitter at Dead Channel Duo.
Follow me on Twitter at AndyHolsey88.
Yeah, can do
or
that.
Guy.
Nah, don't follow me on Twitter. I'm kind of a boring follow, but
I don't know which way he is.
To your, well, you had it the other way. There you go. But yeah, send us a question on Twitter if you want your topic discussed next week. You can also comment on YouTube. We don't have a YouTube custom URL yet because we have to get to 100 subs to do that. So I found out why we.
And
didn't
also, I don't do that.
Well, yeah, you don't do that, but highly recommend it if you're a content creator to get that. But you can go on YouTube and search for Dead Channel Duo. You'll find us on there.
Yeah.
And
hopefully.
Why don't you talk with the mic there all the time?
What do you mean?
That would make audio so much easier.
Would it?
It would, but okay, well.
I'm just cramped right here.
Well, I like to get close to the mic, man.
Listen here, sweetie.
I just want to... Oh, God.
I can't do this because I'll get cigarettes on my microphone.
Andy's already like way too close to the microphone right now. You can
You
tell
ever
you
get cigarettes on the microphone, but
like
sweetie.
it's funny because you can tell you have your gain set high enough to where like the mic's usually out here,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden it's here and it's not. But anyway, you could leave us a comment on YouTube, and then yeah, we're on Stitcher now. So if Stitcher, I just want to give people an update.
We're also on iTunes.
Yeah, we're on iTunes, but
SoundCloud?
we've been on iTunes. No, we're not on SoundCloud.
Never mind,
SoundCloud's
not
a
on
dying,
SoundCloud.
yeah, SoundCloud's a dying platform. We're working on getting on Spotify, but we are on iTunes. We're also on Stitcher. So if you like Stitcher, check us out on that. And then Google Play Music has told me that we will be up on there within a week.
If you like HTML, check out the RSS link.
Yeah, we have an RSS link if you want to put that in your favorite podcatcher. But other than that, we're going to sign out for the week. So this is Alex and Andy, and we'll see you next week. Deuce.
Next time on the Dutch on Duo show.
Yeah, Deuce with abuse. Apparently Andy's like, what was that?
This little music outro.
Oh, okay. Do it again.
No.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.